Nollie doesn't require muscle strength, so anyone can do it if they know how it feels. If you watch this long video, you'll see that 7 is indeed doable. This time, I'm gonna teach you the content of my paid online lesson for free. I've taught more than 300 people how to do Nollie including online. I'm gonna show you another innovative way to practice. Hey, I'm B-koji. This time I'm gonna give you some advice based on real life example. Let's check if it's the same for you. This time, 8 people will start with the 180 level and work our way to the 7 level. And then let's see. Especially in Nollie, there are many people who can already do 7, but they are not able to do the rudimentary part and are not stable. So please check all the items. Even if you are doing them at 2x speed or speaking them, I want you to fly Nollie. I want you to wake up and know that as a world floating feeling.
This is what it feels like to spin. Oh, it feels so good.
Let's take a look at the first one first. Bib Pants Man. I'm sure many of you are like this, especially at first. First of all, look at the nose. He's not jumping. He can jump only once in several times. If the nose is still stuck to the snow, it's an alpha phenomenon. Then you need to change the form. Easy to get swamped if you get into the habit. And since this person has this low posture, it's not grow up from there. It's not, but it's not enough. Instead of going up from the low posture, instead you need to put pressure so that it stacks down once. Then after the moment you extend upward. I call this Nike shift. The image is to jump upward from the center of gravity of the tail to the moment. When the center of gravity is lowered further, and the step is taken to the limit. This is also important for the timid dog, so please remember it. If you can go around in small bumps, you must not have Nike center of gravity shift. Please wear this evening in Nollie. Second, clap and point. Clap is an instantaneous jump. Now this is not a clap like this. On the graph, this person is up, so make sure it's down. And he's not jumping at one point with the edge. He's jumping with the fall. That's why the snow mark is not a single point, right? So you should jump with the heel edge as much as possible and jump with one point. However, this is difficult due to the human structure. If you are on land watching this, please try this Nollie movement without wearing a board. If you do it without being aware of it, at the moment you jump, your left toe should be at the end. That is a natural movement of human beings, but Nollie goes against it and jumps with his heel edge. Therefore, we must have a strong desire to jump with our heels to the extent that we go against the natural order of things. If you don't make such a conscious effort to stand up on the board, you will definitely the whole surface of the board. Anyone can do the Nollie 5 in no time. Please confirm, clap and point yourself. Next up is the second one. He's the eyes. That's all you need to do. From the moment he puts his center of gravity on his left foot before he jumps now, his eyes are looking down. I hope he can keep looking at this in the direction of rotation. That's all. He can do Nollie 5 right away. Of course, this person is not doing the clap and point properly. But there is a priority. If you want to do big tricks, you must look for powder. If it's snow, you must go snowboarding instead of walking. Everything has priorities. So for this man, first of all, keep his action straight and his eyes behind him is a must. Now the third one, helmet powder. First of all, he's got the basics down. I can see that he probably didn't do it with the spirit and guts, but properly watched the video and took the steps one by one. The line of sight and the actions are quite good. Here is where he's missed the point. The movements of the upper body and the lower body are not in sync. Yes, he is the center. It is this center state that catches the upper and lower body to intentionally shift, such as in a rock. If he becomes, or if he cannot do it, it is this center. If I understand him condition correctly, he's good until he turns backwards from the heel edge. Do you see how the upper body lags behind the face and the lower body from here? This is actually unavoidable when you sit on a swivel chair and try to turn around without using your legs. Don't use this movement. So if you try to rotate the board in the same way, you will twist your upper body in the opposite direction and rotate it virtually. The best example of this is a kicker shift. These are straight jumps, but the board is turned 90 degrees. If you can do it, you know what I mean. It's not just a little turn. After I jump, you can say,
Tweak.
I can do it. It's just that I am twisting my upper body in the opposite direction, so I am not spinning. The act of twisting the upper body backwards makes the board go faster at first, but in the end, it is meaningless. As evidence, the board starts considerably in the second half. The image is to rotate the upper body and lower body together. Ideally, only the face should be slightly ahead of the body. It's easy to say, isn't it? So this time I will teach you one way to practice without letting your upper body lag behind. It's left hand start to right side. If your upper body is lagging behind, it is often due to your hands and your arms like this. Hands and arms are turning in the opposite direction, right? So other countermeasures start with the Nollie hand in the opposite direction of rotation. If you swing your left hand from the right like this, your upper body will try to rotate even if you don't want to. This will reduce the possibility of delay. This feeling is important. Thanks to this, I think the delay of the right hand, which was inhibiting the rotation, will be eliminated. And here it is after the rotation is over. Your upper body is in front of your right hand. This is a wasteful. It's important to be willing to turn your lower body and go for a little turn at the end. After all, the accumulation of this feeling is shortcut to high rotation. The last push is with the feeling of, I gonna turn it! Sticking with more force than usual. Jump more than usual. The axis becomes smaller than usual. You can do 7 only when you are awake. Feelings are very important. Next, let's look at the sunglasses boy. Here is what I want to see in him. As usual, look at the tip of the nose. If you look at this point, you can see that at least he can use the edge better than the previous ones. So he can spin just under 5, and the low waist at the beginning is also good. The most important point I would like to see fixed is his upper body always lagging behind. As you can see from the beginning to the end, your upper body is lagging behind your lower body. So far, you are ahead of the others. It's not enough to be ahead. He is this type of person who keeps looking ahead. He may eventually be able to 7 lock or something like that first, even if he keeps doing it like this. However, I am of the opinion that it is better not to do this, even if it seems that the lock can be done first. There are 2 reasons. It takes time to stabilize. The habit of always locking will not grow in the future. So let's change the shape while we are at it. Let's look at the back before jumping instead of looking at the front after jump. And since he has Nollie, let's be aware of that and fix it. Let's talk about the Nollie later, so stay on the channel. Next, let's look at this guy. He's good, isn't he? But he says he has grown in 10 days. First of all, thank you very much for continuing. It's tough to be in snowboarding hell without growth. I tried to quit once myself. This person is definitely gonna wake up this season. I already sent him my 7 minutes instructional video. I'd like to share with you 3 of them that apply to use as well. Point 1. A little heel edge difference. First video and the second video. Roughly the same number of rotation, right? You may think it is natural because the same person is using the same phone, but it is not true. The first one is much higher than the second one, isn't it? But the same number of revolutions is evidence that the second one is faster. What I want you to focus on is here. You can use the heel edge a little more than this one. The difference is so small that you can hardly see in a still image, but it makes such a difference. So if you stand the board up a little more, it will change even more. The rotation speed of the 7 is obviously different and faster. The second point. Straight line Nollie. Do you see a lot of people who jump Nollie at an angle? I do not recommend this. The speed and inertial force of the edge will be lost. Simply put, It is difficult to achieve high rotation because of the loss of power. This type of person should start from the heel edge. He jumps in 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you want rhythm, you have to jump 1, 2, 3, E. In other words, half tempo faster. People often say, jump here in the S10. That's what I mean, here is too slow. But even if you tell you this, you can't fix it. Maybe it's a habit. Or maybe he is afraid of the sensation. Anyway, all of you who can't fix your diagonal jumps should do the straight line Nollie. The method is to do a straight line Nollie on the gentle slope without using an S stroke. If you don't get used to this, it will be very uncomfortable at first. If you want, your rotation will be lower than before, and you won't be able to jump. But if you keep doing this, you will be able to jump. There is no one who can do high rotation on the diagonal Nollie, so you should definitely fix it. It's been longer than expected. Next, I will summarize the two of them. Comparing the two, the rotations look different. However, when slowed down, this person's rotation is 5, and this person's just barely 7. Not even a half revolution different. But the difference in power is the difference is whether or not the person has awakened to the Nollie or not. Don't you think so? 2, 3, and 5 are not the difference when you look at them. But from the 7, it's different. There is undescribable awesomeness. This is what I have been thinking since I was a beginner. And even now that I can do it, 7 is still different. So let's all wake up and do 7. Now let's see at this level. You can see that the heel edge is standing firmly, and here is a point of improvement that they both have in common. There are now shinollies. Let me explain what shinollie is. A shinollie is a condition in which the elbow axis collapses and the skater bends. It is kind of B-koji was named after the shape of the letter C in the alphabet. Let me explain what B-koji word is. B-koji coined this word for the purpose of explanation. It is named so that everyone can easily remember it. However, there are many words that are difficult to understand. In this case, it's a she from the front. Shinollie is a must to fix. This boy I gave a lesson had a shinollie all the time. However, after this lesson, he corrected her habit and was able to 7. And he was able to reach not only 7, but also 900. I'm sorry I didn't take a video, but it was clear not 7. As you can see, this person in particular was able to make a 7 with a shinollie. So if he can fix this, he can aim for 900. So how to fix it? This is easy. Nollie 3! If you are conscious of high rotation, you will end up with a shinollie. So slow down your rotation and beware of your actions. You can definitely do this if you take a time. Let's slow down the rotation until you get a nice action. Then stabilize at a low rotation and gradually increase it. If you increase the rotation to the original rotation, you will see that the number of rotation has increased by a half, even though you were still in the same position as you were before. If you fix the axis, you should see a significant change. Last, I remember this person. This person instantly awakened Andy in my lesson with just one lift or something. There are many people who can do that. So Andy and Nolie can both wake up in an instant once they get the hang of it. This gentleman's Nolie is 5. His low back is good, and he's jumping at the point quite well. The timing to see the mountain could be a little faster, but it's not that bad. He's bouncing up and down, and he's turning with his left elbow. The axis is not bent like shinollie. Aside from the details, I can't find anything wrong with it at first glance. And yet his rotation is 5. He was shinollie, but he's turning better than him.
Why is this?
Don't you think? I would like to recommend Abandon Nollie to you. I awakened twice with it. What does it mean? The first time I was awakened by this nighter, and I could only 7 about 5 times after waking. After that, I didn't snowboard for 2 weeks, and then I forgot what it felt like. and I couldn't do a 7 anymore. Have you ever experienced this? The most frustrating thing is just not being able to do something, but not being able to do something that you could do. The method that has awakened me twice is abandon Nollie. Do this on a day when the snow is soft and it doesn't have to fall. I literally go around with abandon. Forget everything you've learned in this Nollie course and just go around as fast as you can. Jump as hard as you can. Squeeze as hard as you can. Let's go around as hard as you can. Don't think about running at all. Just think about go around and around. Even figure skaters who are said to be beautiful look like this when they jump with all their might. Don't think about your face or how cool you look because your friend's taking a video or because God's watching you. Just a feeling of going around. This boy who's pretty awakened now that I just brought out. This man also had a long period of time when he was only just awakened. Once he could do 7 Nollie, but other days he couldn't do 7 at all. But for some reason, when I snowboarded with him, he could do it. He could do it when he saw me falling down trying to turn without thinking. And he could do it when he imitated me. So the tension is also important for this abandoned Nollie. You have to be excited with your friends.
I'm gonna do triple axel!
Or
Ultra special Nollie!
and try to do it seriously with all your might while joking around. At the end of the day, there are people who can't do 7 and people who can't wake up. Even if they can do everything to a certain extent, no matter how much you build up the foundation, you may not be able to overcome the big wall of awakening. When that happens, please try to hit that wall as hard as you can. I used to think that I would never go beyond the big world to the next world, but with what I have accumulated so far, I think I can go to another world of awakening with the height I have now. Yes, I've seen a lot of this time. I'm sure you are thinking,
how can you talk like this?
No, Nollie! This is not collection of videos I'm trying to say. I've taken all the videos posted in my online lesson that were posted during the month of April. I could pick and choose and random and still have this much to say. If I told you everything I know, I need 4 hours just for Nollie. So I ask that you all do this with the issue in mind every time you do a Nollie, reflect on it, prove on the issue, and go through the PDCA cycle for the Nollie. And if you can have Mr. Nollie, who has awakened more than 10 Nollie students, evaluate you every once in a while. It's a skill that often makes people learning instant with just one piece of advice. Yes, let's all make sure we can get a Nollie 7, which can be done anywhere, anytime. Into rotations. Have a nice Nollie life. Bye.